one of our favorites back here from ESPN, and in advance of the American Century Championship Tournament in July in Lake Tahoe. It's Jay Bilas. Good to see you, Jay. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Rich. How you doing, brother?
I'm really enjoying you and Mark Jones, man. It's a lot of fun. Is he cracking you up with some of the things that he just comes off the dome, Jay?
Yes, quite a bit, especially when a guy's, crossing over and he talks about playing with his food, and I don't have any comeback for some of these things.
That's right. It's great. And so what is your take of what you're seeing between such a talented young roster trying to get to the finals after a 68-win season, if not win at all, and then an old warhorse of a team in the Nuggets with an interim head coach? It's just a fascinating 2-2 series so far, Jay.
Yeah, I think it's really depth and amazing defense versus the star power of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and I would throw Aaron Gordon in there. I think the one problem Denver has is they're not healthy. They're not deep to begin with. So contributions off the bench outside of Russell Westbrook are pretty sparse. But with Michael Porter Jr. With that injured shoulder, I mean, he had a great game 3. Scored over 20 points. He rebounded well. He was diving on the floor, defending. But in basically a 36-hour turnaround, David Alamo was telling us that it's hard for him to get both of his arms above his head. And, it's a left shoulder injury, and he's gutting it out. I'm actually, really impressed and have a lot of respect for Michael Porter Jr. going through this, because a lot of players would just shut it down. But this is the time of year where you give a little bit extra. But without that threat, it's harder for Denver to spread the floor. So Oklahoma City can really show a lot of bodies to Jokic, and it's shown. I mean, he's turned it over a lot. At least going into yesterday, I didn't look at all the numbers after yesterday, but going into yesterday, he had more turnovers than assists, and he's got a lot of assists. I think he had 21 turnovers in 3 games 1 through 3, and 18 assists. And you put 2 on the ball with him and try to double him, he's going to find open people. But if they're not shooters, Aaron Gordon can knock shots down this year. He's really improved his shooting. But if Michael Porter Jr. is not shooting it, they have a hard time stretching the floor against Oklahoma City, and they can close out to those things.
Well, and then the fascinating thing for me watching this series, Jay, is seeing the huddles and how demonstrative Jokic has been on occasion. The overtime the other night, Russell Westbrook looked like the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. What's going on there that you can lend some insight to?
It's funny. Right after the Final Four, I was flying. After the championship game, I flew to Sacramento to do Nuggets Kings.
Right.
And there were 3 games left in the regular season before the playoffs started. And while I was on the plane, I got the notification that Michael Malone had been fired. He and Calvin Booth, the GM, had been fired. I'm like, holy cow. And David Alamo has taken over as interim. And when, I remember doing some Nuggets games during the year, and Michael Malone was saying that, it was great to have Russell Westbrook because he was really vocal and brought a great energy, into practices and games. And it's a largely quiet team. And I think since the coaching change was made, and this is not about Michael Malone, David Adelman, whatever, it seems like the players are trying to take more ownership of what's going on. And Jokic has been way more vocal, to my eye, in the playoffs than he was before. And look, I mean, I think they realize they got a window here, and they have a chance. They're good enough, but it's going to take all hands on deck to do it. And it's been pretty impressive to watch. I mean, coaches always say that you would rather have a player-led team than a coach-led team, and you would rather have the players in the driver's seat with the coach as the driving instructor. And it looks like the Nuggets are trying to do that right now. It's just every game in that series has been so different. There's not been any momentum, and it makes you wonder if momentum exists in a 7-game series, because what happened in one game is, it's totally out the window for the next game.
Well, the next game is on True TV and in Turner networks as well. That's for our colleagues there. That's Game 5 coming up on Tuesday night. Let's talk about the doubleheader that's on ESPN tonight, starting with the back end. What is Steve Kerr thinking right now, do you think, Jay?
I think Steve's taken a lot of time to think about what combinations they can use that can be effective. With Steph Curry, if he's not able to play, and it doesn't sound like he's going to be able to play with this hamstring thing, the grade 1 hamstring, that puts a lot of pressure on everybody else. So Buddy Hield, when Steph's out there, he can be a catch and shoot threat to really spread the floor, but he's a primary threat with Curry out, and he's going to face a lot more defensive attention. And obviously that's more difficult. Now, early in the season, he handled it really well. Like Buddy Hield averaged well over 20 points a game early in the season. But that productivity kind of went down as the season went along, and he's had a really good end of season and playoffs. I think since the Jimmy Butler trade, Golden State's been the best defensive team since Jimmy Butler put on a Warriors uniform. But I think he lifted up a number of players also on the offensive end, and Buddy Hield's one of them. But, you got an asymmetrical threat on the floor when Curry's out there. I mean, he can shoot it from anywhere. He's running off screens. Rich, I don't think I've ever seen a player that's more dangerous when he gives the ball up than Steph Curry is. So he gives the ball up. It's not in his hands anymore. And he can move to an area. I mean, he must run 2.5, 3 miles a game and hurt you once he gives the ball up. And without that threat out there, they become much easier to guard. And Minnesota's really good. Like, they're deep and they've got length and athleticism and a ton of versatility. And they've really gotten used to the Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo dynamic since the trade. Like, trades usually take some time to figure out, and they seem to have really figured that out.
Jay, you and I have known each other for quite some time, so I don't usually traffic in the let me tell you what I said earlier on my program and you agree with me type of question, but I'm about to jump in that way, Jay. I said earlier Game 4 is a must-win for the Knicks up 2-1. Would you agree?
Yes, I would. And we have known each other a long time. We both had hair when we first started working together. And we are now
more handsome. No, let me finish that sentence. No, I want to help. Let me finish the sentence. We're now more handsome. You're welcome.
That's not true. I am. You're not. Let's not use unless you're using the royal we with regard to me.
I appreciate that, but you agree. You agree with me.
I do, and I thought it was like I don't know. Reasonable minds can differ on this. People have different views, but I always laugh when people say "live by the 3, die by the 3." Because nobody ever says, well, live by the post up, die by the post up. Live by the double team, die by the double team. Live by the mid-range shot, die by, none of that makes any sense. Like, Boston can shoot it from like eight different guys can make threes. And the way they spread the floor, they're incredibly good. And they're scoring 120 points a game doing it that way. They're a prolific 3-point shooting team. They have a couple games where they don't shoot it well. They kind of, I thought they gave 2 of those games away. At least one was a giveaway. And so I didn't think the series was over by any stretch. And if this year has taught us anything, home court in the NBA in the playoffs is not what it used to be. 20 years ago, or when Bird and Magic were playing, you got Game 7 of your home court. You're like, man, it's over. Boston's going to win. All this stuff. That's not the case anymore. I mean, the road teams are winning more often. I think in the conference semifinals, I think this is still true that the road teams have a winning record, and that's hard to fathom really over the course of 4 different series. So I don't not only count Boston out. I think they're the favorite in the series.
Okay. That said, are the Pacers playing the best basketball of anybody in the playoffs right now, Jay?
They're playing really well. Rick Carlisle's such a great coach, and one of those guys that probably doesn't get the credit he deserves. And now he's the all-time winningest playoff coach in Pacers history. But I had them a few times during the regular season. I thought, man, these guys are really good. You just kind of wonder, do they have the go-to ability at the end of a game? Like, in whose hands do they put it? And it's Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, that dude whoever voted him overrated, I think they're probably feeling bad about it now and hope they don't get outed, when the votes become public. But they defend really well. They're a solid transition team, but they've got a bunch of really, really good players. And I think Halliburton's a great player, but they're really good in most every spot, and they're tough. Like, they play with an edge. And even though, you don't like seeing Benedict Mathurin get thrown out and all that stuff, and we have to be adults and say, hey, you shouldn't do that. But I kind of like the way they play with that edge right now. And they've been doing it through the latter part of the season. Early on in the season, they kind of I don't want to say struggle, but it was tough for them out of the gate. They weren't winning at the same clip as they were at the end, but they're legit. And one of the great things, I'm not sure that the results that we're getting are the best thing for ratings today. I know that the media companies probably would like to have the Lakers and Golden State advancing and all that stuff, but Minnesota and OKC, I mean, these guys are the future. And get used to watching them because they're not going anywhere.
And we'll see who gets better tonight. Jay Bilas here on the Rich Eisen Show. Before we get to the American Century Championship Tournament in Tahoe, and we'll have a fun discussion there. I want to talk about the draft lottery tonight, and I guess the backdrop of the draft lottery tonight, I'd imagine, is the fact that Giannis is also saying, hey, I'm interested in seeing what is out there other than Milwaukee, according to Shams Charania of ESPN. And I'm just wondering if somebody gets a high lottery draft choice, or even Cooper Flagg, would that be something that somebody would even consider flipping for Giannis? Certainly if it's a team that somehow lucks into getting Flagg and having already a terrific roster. I'm wondering what you think of this, Jay, for tonight.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody lucks into it that's got a roster where he is the cherry on top, I could see that. If you're building, though, I just can't imagine being, Charlotte or Washington and Utah, whatever, and giving up Cooper Flagg. He's 18 years old, and there are not guys that play that way at 18 very often. And he's as complete a player, like you and I've talked about, he's the best freshman Duke's ever had. And that's saying something. They've had some amazing players and amazing freshmen. Now, I'm not projecting out saying, okay, he's going to be the best player Duke's ever had. I still think that's Grant Hill, but you put Kyrie Irving in there and Jason Tatum and all that stuff. But he's the real deal. And his level of competitiveness, especially at that age, is kind of hard to fathom. And he impacts the game on both ends. He's not only a two-way player, he's a great player on each end of the floor. Notice I don't say both sides of the ball. I don't know how that crept into basketball. I hate that. There are two sides of the floor, not two sides of the ball. That's football. But he plays both ends of the floor really well, and I just can't imagine. He's the real prize in this one. There are going to be other guys that are going to be great values, and I'm sure will have great careers. But there's no other player that's going to go number one. It's this is a no-brainer year as far as number one's concerned.
Yeah, I guess throw Wembanyama out of the mix. Give me the last time there was such a no-brainer. This is where we name the lottery after somebody. Jay?
Oh, there have been a lot of no-brainers in a particular year. But after Flagg this year, it's kind of an interesting time in the draft process, Rich, because players in college can get paid now. It's kind of eliminated the sophomore and junior leaving early to go into the NBA. Because they can wait until they're truly ready because they're making legit money in college now. So you still have the one and dones, and you've got the guys who've exhausted their eligibility and some internationals, but you don't have the same kind of depth of players because some of the guys that stayed to be sophomores, stayed to be juniors, they're not bailing out because they don't need to just yet. They're making really good money and having a good experience in college. That's helping the college game. I happen to think that helps the NBA. Doesn't help the draft night. It's not there are going to be some spots in the draft you're going to go, wait a minute, wouldn't you rather have this guy or that guy? He's not available. He's not in the draft. So maybe it's not going to help draft ratings, but having players stay in school longer, ultimately, I do think helps the NBA because they get players that are more prepared to contribute when they get there.
All right, Jay Bilas, let's talk about the 36th American Century Championship Tournament over lakefront at Edgewood Tahoe Golf Course in the middle of July. It's going to be shown on NBC. How many years have you played in this one, Jay?
I think it's like 6, something like that. And I hear you're playing this year.
This is true. I can confirm that, Jay. When was the last time I played, Chris? You looked this up the last time I played.
Yes, we looked it up, Rich. You last played in 2004.
Oh, my God. That has been a long time.
Yeah, and you were not good.
Maybe that's why I haven't been invited back, Jay. How does this work? Is because Edgewood looked like I'd taken a shovel to it? They're like, we can't have him back? Is that how it works?
No, I think you dropped off the celebrity list. You dropped a little line of celebrity, and now you've jumped back up. Like you've done. I'm proud of you, Rich. You've done really well. You can be called a celebrity again.
Thank you.
It's a tough line. That Mendoza line for celebrity. It's disappointing when you drop below it. But you know how great this tournament is, and it's the best week of the year for me and my wife and. It's not all, the golf is great and it's great to play with so many great people and hang out with, one of my best friends, my caddy, a guy named Harlan Prater. And I have to remind Harlan that, hey, you're my caddy. Quit walking with the other players and spending time with the other guys. You're supposed to be helping me out. But the American Century people are so nice and so welcoming, and you kind of feel like you're part of the family. But it is every year. When you get the invite, you are kind of sitting on pins and needles. That, geez, I wonder if I've overstayed my welcome. So when you get that, it's kind of like an invitation to Augusta National. Frankly, it's that important.
Okay, so has it changed at all in the last? What is it now? 21 years?
It's been a while for you. Yeah.
My God. Has it changed at all in 20? Like, so what do I do? Like, what, you play all day and then what, you hang out or you're?
No, it's awesome. So they have, because so many American Century people are there and their clients.
Yes.
They have unbelievable events at night, and it's right there on the water at the Edgewood Resort. I mean, it's a beautiful setting, whether it's food or they have a karaoke night where all the, it's shocking how good some of these football players and other athletes and celebrities, how good of singers they are. It's kind of intimidating.
Hold on a second, Jay. So now, hold on a minute. Is there a competition for karaoke?
Yes. Yeah. And it's a money competition, and it's incredible.
Okay.
I mean, it's really cool.
Now, where did I finish in 2004, Chris?
Oh, Rich, you were terrible. You finished 75th.
See, that's terrible.
Out of 79.
Out of 79.
Yeah.
I will finish. Jay, I will finish top 5 in karaoke. That is.
I don't know. When you hear Brett Baer do rap songs,
please,
that is tough to overcome.
No, Jay. There's a difference between performing properly and train wreck. Just because you're seeing like Mr. Fox News rap. Come on now.
Well, what are you going to sing? Are you going to go like old Sinatra lounge act? Like, hey,
Jay knows you well.
Excuse me. By the way, I have range, Jay. All right. Yes, Sinatra, 100%. That is the starter. That's what's going to get me to the top of the leaderboard, like clubhouse leader. And then I do yacht rock, and then it's next level, and it's over. It's over. Seriously.
I would think about that. I would think about that because that might be another 21-year hiatus for you.
Okay. All right. Listen, I just only know one speed, Jay, and I'm just going to show up in that respect, but I'm excited about it. I am 100% excited about it. American Century Championship.com. More information can be found there. And I do look forward. There's no way I'm going to be in your group. Not a chance.
No, we'll play together. I mean, we can put in a press. It'd be great.
I mean, no, I know, but I don't want to.
It'll be a nice, quiet round because 2 non-celebrities, nobody will be watching. They'll all be watching like Steph Curry and Marty Fish and all these big shots and Aaron Rodgers, and it's a nice way to anonymously go through a week.
Who'd you play with last year? Who you paired up with last year?
I played with a bunch of great guys. Played with Mike Vrabel and Ryan Fitzpatrick on day one. Nice. And I am deathly afraid of Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to kick my ass literally and figuratively throughout the entire round. But he's a great guy. I just had a blast. Played with Chandler Parsons and Bobby Flay. Played with Bobby Flay, which was great.
Very nice.
And that poor guy, he had everybody chanting "Beat Bobby Flay" at him the whole time. It was, but he couldn't have been nicer. It was a blast.
All right, very good, Jay. I don't know who I'm happy to play with you. I would say we would get Urlacher to complete the Bald Brotherhood, but he left us on the playing field a long time ago. So we got to find somebody else to hang out with, I imagine.
Well, one thing about the American Century Championship, there's no such thing as a bad pairing.
I love it.
But some are better than others.
No pressure. Thanks again, Jay. Where are you now? What's your next game?
I'm in Chicago. I just got here from Denver for the lottery. So nice. I'll be engaged until they start talking about how the ping pong balls work.
Well,
because I don't care. I just tell me what the order is. I don't care about the algorithm, and I don't care that the NBA personnel have to give up their cell phones for an hour or whatever it is while they're in that room. I actually would like to go back to the old envelope thing back in '85.
Oh yeah,
I think that would be awesome. Put it in a plexiglass bubble and turn it 6 times, and let's have some more conspiracy theories. This has gotten too good.
I'm with you. If you remember Bowling for Dollars, remember that when we were kids? Like they used to put it in one of those things. You pulled out somebody's name, and they were your pen pal, and you were winning money for them. You were bowling for dollars for them. I remember.
What would be great is just get the executives from the lottery teams and line them up at like a skee ball thing at an old carnival.
Yes.
And give them 2 minutes, and whoever has the most points gets the top pick.
I agree. I'd love that. We are going to do the ping pong ball thing later on. I'll let you know who. We're going to figure out the 4-digit code and everything. We'll tell you who wins the draft lottery based on what we do here, Jay. It's a mock.
Well, I will wait with bated breath.
Jay, thanks again, man. Great to see you. I'm enjoying your playoff coverage. We'll chat soon.
Always a pleasure, brother. Thank you.
You got it. That's Jay Bilas, everybody, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.